What is going on, guys? We are back on another video today, and we are doing another career resimulation on Madden 22, and today it is of Le'Veon Bell, a guy that was, once upon a time the best running back in the league, and nobody was arguing it. Then he held out, which was, it was a crazy precedent. We thought a lot of players were going to start doing that going forward, and he did end up getting paid, but from what I'm pretty sure, I don't know if the rumors are all, true or whatever leaks came out, but I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh was offering him almost similar to what the Jets were offering him. Maybe it was a little bit different in guarantees, but overall, we know he went to the Jets, got quote-unquote paid, and really just never played well. He went from, a career average of maybe like 4.5 yards per carry-ish to 3.2 yards per carry, and ever since then was just awful. It was just awful. That Steelers offensive line, you got to remember, once upon a time was amazing. It was very good, and a lot of people even thought, which I'm not saying is wrong, but that he was being carried, and I'm not saying that he was, because he was a good running back, very patient runner, but being a patient runner doesn't really exist if you play behind a garbage line, and I think he learned that very quickly playing for New York, and ever since then has just been bouncing around teams left and right. Had some spats with the Chiefs, and it's been a bad time for him. Will his career be over? I don't know. The way it seems, probably, right? It has just been worse and worse and worse. I know it's not a lot of plays, but 39 rushes for 101, 31 rushes for 83, 8 for 18. It's just, it's not great situations. Of course, you would probably assume that if they're going to hand the ball off or they have Bell in the backfield, it's probably going to be a handoff right up the middle, nothing crazy spectacular. So maybe it's a little predictable in general, but at 29 years of age, I don't see it happening. However, what would have happened if he would have actually stayed on a roster, kind of accepted his role? Not that I'm saying his role wasn't important. He had a couple of seasons that were very close to 2,000 yards. I don't know if they were total of I don't think they were close, but almost 2,000 yards total. He was a very good back. Everyone feared him. What would happen if he would have just played on a team, accepted, I'll whatever, decent money still. I'll play behind a decent line. I keep things stable instead of jumping from team to team, not being able to start because they don't know what they're getting out of me and not knowing the scheme and all that. We'll see what happens. Of course, once promising super career turned into, good but not amazing. 6,500 yards, 3,200 yards receiving, with the majority of that all coming from Pittsburgh. And it's been how many years since he's been playing there? He played there for 5 years, been in the NFL, if you will, with that missed season because of the holdout for, almost 10. So, a lot of years wasted, and we're going to see what happens if those years weren't wasted. Of course, normally I'm in the end of the season. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. Let me know what you guys think. I want to just start from the regular season to the end, just to maybe change up the top 10, top 20, to top 30, the whole draft rankings. Once again, this one isn't going to matter too much because we have them going in the middle of the second round, just like in real life, or late second, middle second, whatever you want to call it, just like real life. And yeah, we're going to see who takes him, see if he's in a run-heavy scheme or if he's even going to be the starter, because he is a bit of a low overall. I think I made him a 74 overall. I think in Madden he was like a 73. That running back class was pretty good. The one with Eddie Lacy and him, I think it was a Gio Bernard, but they were a little underrated. The running back slipped hard. I think that was like some big year. It was like the first time, and I don't even know how many years where a running back wasn't taken in the first round, I'm pretty sure. So, we're going to see that more and more, or very close to more and more in the future. But, giving a second contract to a running back is a little risky. And I think Pittsburgh probably made the right call, right? But as for Mr. Bell, if you were to look at how he looks here, protects the football versus any contact, suffers from concentration drops right for every, fair enough, avoids big hits, wants to take every catch to the house. That's all pretty basic knowledge. We'll see the combine and all that, but not seeing a whole lot here. Just, basic stuff. You can't really, read too well. So, it doesn't really matter to us. The Steelers probably aren't going to be drafting a running back, but obviously we always start on the team that the player was known for, which obviously is the Steelers. But speaking of being known for, let's try to get the channel known for in the community, like by subscribing. I don't know. That really didn't work, to be honest. But let's go to the next all that crap. Patriots and the Cowboys are in the Super Bowl in this one, and the Patriots win. Real, evil versus evil, if you will. Sorry, Cowboys and Patriots fans, but, like, let's be honest. It's just, it's just the way it is. But let us see what the speed and all that is for Le'Veon based on what I gave him. Of course, in real life, he ran like a 4.6 and all that. It wasn't crazy bad for a bigger guy, and obviously, once again, he played pretty damn well. It was worth the pick, even though he only stayed for his rookie contract pretty much. But yeah, let's take a look at what we're looking at. Should see all the pro day and all that. Everything is all finished, and he is now a 1-2 round guy, of course, because they know more about him. A 4.53, which is obviously a bit faster than real life, but I don't feel like I gave him that kind of speed. Bench press, 28 reps. Vertical is pretty high. I didn't give him that much jumping and broad jump. Apparently I did. We gave him some decent agility, though. We definitely gave him some decent agility. He's good in speed. Maybe he is a little overrated, but I think it's very fair, and we'll see in a moment if you guys agree. Of course, there are a couple of running backs here, but I don't know. I still think he'll probably go somewhat high. I don't know if he's going to go like real life, though. I'm starting to think, maybe not. I think I had him as the 47th player in the draft, which I think is like one ahead of real life, but, don't yell at me, okay? Might as well go to the next round because he's not going to go in the first round. I mean, I don't even know how many running backs will go in the first round, let alone Le'Veon Bell. Hope he doesn't go to the Cardinals, because we obviously just did one with Todd Gurley. That actually was an interesting sim. I don't know where I want him to go, though. Like, maybe Atlanta? Kind of like a Michael Turner replacement. And it's the Chargers. A different style running back to Eckler. You do see teams doing this more often in real life. Could this benefit him playing not as the starter? I don't know, but we're going to be headed to the Chargers. That's a strange one. That's a strange one, but once again, I guess, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they just want to make Eckler like a primary receiving back. It's a little strange. He also went, like I said, way earlier than we expected him to. I don't know if the game can, like, dictate where someone goes just based on their 40 and all that. Not that it was, like, the craziest combine ever or pro day ever, but, he went from a 2-3 to a 1-2, which, like I said, I had him at 47, but I'm actually think I made him 27 in the second round, so I don't know, but let's take a look at the draft recap, see what else they landed. It's probably like a freaking white. Bro! EA, stop! This is why, I do want to trade him now, because they drafted a quarterback when they didn't need one. But here's Le'Veon Bell, nonetheless. He's wearing number 25 for them. 89 speed, 90 excel, 91 agility, 83 trucking, 91 stiff arm, 87 carrying, 81 ball carrier vision with 77 juke move, 72 spin move, 84 strength. I think it's all pretty fair. Maybe the catching ratings could be a little bit higher, but I think that's all pretty damn fair, to be honest. You got to remember you're a rookie, and, the fact that he did go in the late of the second round definitely tells you maybe he wasn't, that great coming out, but star development trait, regardless, is still pretty good. Wish they had number 26 available. We're going to try to fix that. I don't know who the hell has 26, but yeah, Le'Veon Bell on the Chargers as most likely a backup. I'm not going to force this one because, once again, it is a high second-round pick, but at the same time, if you look at it, other than maybe linemen and a linebacker, the Chargers are in a pretty good spot with their roster. So if they feel like a guy like Le'Veon Bell, similar to maybe even, I always bring up Green Bay, but similar to Green Bay with Dylan, if they feel like it gives them that X factor to be that much better on offense, you maybe take him over, a bigger need. Because once again, the ultimate goal is scoring points. And if a guy like Le'Veon Bell or Jamar Chase in real life for the Bengals feel you score more points with him rather than an offensive lineman or a linebacker, obviously, he's a defender, you probably take that chance, and that's what they did here. So we will see what happens, but obviously he will be the backup for Eckler. And, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, but I suppose it was about time one of these times we had Le'Veon, or a backup, draftee, if you will. I mean, he's a late second. Wasn't guaranteed that, a guy in late second would be starting automatically, right? We're going to let the Chargers playbook roll as well. I'm not sure what we're expecting from this, but we're going to go for it. And the Chargers go 6-11. We see this a lot from really good teams. They just don't have the sim juice. Justin Herbert. I guess they're looking to replace him with Gary Bayless. I don't know. Rushing, Le'Veon Bell, 3.2. Oh, God, what did he freaking hold out already? Of course, Eckler wasn't great either. I think it might be time for a scheme change. I know they're throwing the ball pretty successfully, but in the end, they didn't make the playoffs anyways. They were middle of the pack with a team that's above middle of the pack talent-wise. I guess we'll look at awards, but obviously Le'Veon Bell isn't winning Offensive Rookie of the Year with that kind of season. I mean, he didn't even steal, touchdowns, really, so Offensive Rookie of the Year, if he's number 3. Wait, how many? Did he kill it in the touchdowns? Maybe he did, and I just didn't pay attention. Okay, he did. He had 11. Okay, never mind. He did steal the touchdowns. I glanced over. I thought it said 1, but it was 11. Fair enough. I mean, I guess. I was about to say, because I know they kind of give the user with the rookie the benefit of the doubt. They usually pump the numbers a little bit, but I was like, 3rd? With 1 touchdown, 300 yards, 3.2 yards per carry? But no, fair enough. As the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, no Patriots this time. They win, though. That's their goal, and they got it. That's their goal. No one else's, just theirs. No one else wants to win the Super Bowl, just Dallas. Draft, they go with a right tackle, left tackle. Oh, my God, who the hell is that? 23 years old. Why even draft him? Harvey Farrow, though. I think they technically need the right tackle more, right? Because I'd say Bulaga is going to retire or just regress beyond use soon enough. What's the dev? Star, not that it really matters, but superstar would be clutch. Obviously, believe it or not. Another 23-year-old edge rusher. Not bad in fairness, but yeah, a bit of an L draft, especially since we've seen how easy it is to draft hiddens now in the draft. Obviously, it's a little different trying to actually develop a hidden. You can't actually get one without the draft, but yeah, I mean, you kind of can't sell a pick 7 in the first round. You draft a normal 23 in the first round, that's just an L. It's kind of dumb for them to go high on a running back and put him at the backup, but just in general, having your running back be a backup isn't the worst call. 10-7 with a hit. I thought it was a missed playoff opportunity, but they make it, which is kind of the importance. Herbert throwing in this new scheme, it wasn't super great, but Le'Veon Bell, definitely an improved season, obviously, as the backup, getting more involved on top of it, obviously. Receiving was pretty good for him. What about Eckler? Where's his receptions? He's just selling or something. I don't even know, but there's no point even looking at awards. I'm not even sure what I'm doing there. It's nothing. He's not going to have anything. But playoffs, maybe Le'Veon Bell can win a ring here. And he will not if they can't beat the Jets. I get the Jets were in the postseason. I'm not sure how, but how do you not beat the Jets? Rams versus Chiefs. Super Bowl people have been wanting to see for some time now, and they finally get it with the Chiefs winning 35-21. All right, the draft. Ooh, hey, these overalls. Although, hidden development trait. Not bad. What about this guy? Cornerback, 68 overall. Ugh, not super great. I don't imagine anything out of this guy. Or, he's 23, but hidden development trait. What about this wide receiver? Yeah, I'm done looking. Another playoff season. Let's see how they played. The new scheme's actually kind of working. It's more of a run-heavy scheme, but Herbert's kind of busting through it. This is the Niners offense, and he's actually doing really well with it. Le'Veon Bell, yards per carry is lacking a little bit, but maybe it's because of situational football, him being in on third downs, and it's a little bit tougher. You're typically not going to get a big play, right? You're going to be in more short yardage situations where you're just barely getting the first and whatnot, but a lot of touchdowns again, which is still a huge win. Once again, there's no point in looking at the awards. He wouldn't even have made the Pro Bowl, let alone best running back or anything like that. But a chance again at the playoffs. They lost to the Jets, and they beat the Bengals this time, which is definitely a tougher opponent. Speaking of tougher, this is the toughest opponent. And even then, it was still a pretty good performance. I'm kind of curious to see how Bell played in that one. Obviously, it doesn't really matter too much about the first game because this is the game that they actually lost. Let's take a look quickly. Bell with 2 touchdowns, 4 yards per carry. I mean, some really good rushing numbers, 4 rushing touchdowns for the two backs. Obviously, once again, Bell is playing the backup spot, but who knows how long for? You know, Eckler is he's 29, but going to be 30 here. I know he's got superstar, but elusive back on top of it. You know, his value definitely drops once he becomes too slow to be fast enough to outrun everyone. As the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl again. They lose this one, though, this time. And, yeah, we'll take a look and see if Bell may even be the starter right now. If not this year, maybe next year. Still, like, slapping a bunch of touchdowns on there, though. So even though he might not get the yards, his touchdowns are still really high. All right, another draft. Cameron Foster, left guard, 71 overall. Hidden development trade, another hidden lineman. Seems like drafting linemen is a little bit easier nowadays. Jalen Roach, super speedly, fair enough. Cornerback, Carlos Woodson. I like the name choice. Not a bad DB name. And running back, very fast. Maybe Eckler is gone. I highly doubt it, but I'd say by next season, Bell may be the actual starter, if he's even here, though. All right, the team looks a little bit different now because Keenan Allen's gone, whether it's retirement or what's the story. But Mike Williams not too far behind, unfortunately. He's 30 years old now, and they don't really have a good backup plan at wide receiver, I must say. Everything else looks all right. Center needs to be replaced. I'm going to put Foster in at the starter. I guess Barch you put at center, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, definitely need a new wide receiver, and can't wait for them to finally have Le'Veon Bell be a starter, and they'll probably draft a running back in the first round. And no Keenan means no playoffs, apparently, as the Chargers go 8-9. They miss. Passing wasn't as good as you would expect. Le'Veon Bell, though, I mean, I think he's definitely proven to be good enough to be the starter, and I think, I'd imagine at least, that he probably will be this upcoming season. The Steelers looking at this contract like, no fair, what is this scam? I mean, in general, it is a super scam, but still. Let's see, do they draft a wide receiver? They went with a running back and a right end and a wide receiver. This guy looks really, really good, actually. And Spencer Bush, normal development trait, 6'2", decently fast. I mean, he kind of fits the bill for what this team likes to draft, a wide receiver. Cornerback a little bit on the slower side, and yeah, I mean, they could have done a little bit better, but that right end does look insane. As you can see, Mr. Bell is, he's not even just the starter. Eckler is gone. 86 overall. They decided to invest in him. Not that it was much of an investment, to be honest. It was very cheap, but yeah, he's finally a starter. He's been sitting back up for a while, but racking up the touchdowns. And now, of course, you look at the rest of the team. Not bad. Wait, was Roach an X Factor? There's no way he was an X Factor. I don't even know if I've seen an X Factor, like rookie linebacker, like inside. I didn't even know they existed. But yeah, you'd be wanting to start him. I know that White is an X Factor himself, but he's obviously older. Kenneth Murray is 27. I mean, he still has a couple of years to like somewhat upgrade. The defense is okay. Oh, they're not going to start Blackburn. Well, is that Vaughn still out there? Blackburn's got to start. How old is Baldwin? Put Baldwin at DT. Maybe it'll just auto fix. I don't know, but I mean, I suppose Le'Veon Bell's the starter now. There's some okay players around. You know, you got that X Factor middle linebacker will be here for ages, assuming they decide to re-sign him, and got Herbert and all that. So, yeah, I mean, all right. They need a cornerback next, but it's not the worst team. 7-10, Le'Veon Bell the starter. Maybe not the best decision. We'll see. Justin Herbert did appear to have the very bad season. Le'Veon Bell, so the number 2 running back does seem to just steal all the touchdowns, but Le'Veon Bell, obviously, insane amount of yards. Not good enough to win any award. Maybe gets to the Pro Bowl, perhaps, but you know, near the end of it, we can always look at his list of awards won and all that. So, yeah, not really the year that you were looking for from his first year actually starting, but good yards. I don't think it was enough to get a dev up, but maybe. Panthers versus the Browns, Super Bowl. It's probably the Browns, right? It is the Browns. Let's take a look, see if you got a dev up. 87 overall. I mean, the team is good. It's not bad. And he did not get a dev up. Nobody did. They need to grab a wide receiver. This is getting desperate out here. I'll tell you, it's getting very desperate. All right, draft recap. Let's see what they did. And I looked at the wide receiver first, and then I seen the overall. Then I seen the speed. Hidden development trait. This guy is fast. He's white, though. Which is like, how is he so fast, you know? His agility is like the most agile white dude in history. But 2 hiddens. Normally, I wouldn't really care about the devs too much, but I got to. I gotta look. They might have actually turned this whole thing around with just these 2 draft picks. Star development trait, yeah, fair enough. He's super fast still. Hidden development trait is still, you know, star is still nice, obviously. This guy could be superstar as well. You just never know. You never know. Probably not, but you never know. And he is, yeah, he's star as well. But still, Keenan Allen's number as well, which is in a little soon. Maybe a hidden development left hat, nope. Hidden outside, no. It's not. He's really bad, to be fair. Undersized, not very good in general. This guy's super slow. So they killed it in the first 2 rounds, and then I don't know what happened. I mean, the tackle's okay, probably. It's, you know, one of those guys that's, if he's hidden, everything is forgiven, but he's not, so he's a waste. But all right, I mean, that's a win. Those are some good draft picks the first 2 rounds, like we said, at least. Those are very fast wide receivers. Back to the playoffs. I don't know how good those wide receivers played. Kept the scheme the same and all that, because this is about Le'Veon Bell, and we want to use him the most. Herbert's touchdowns were bad. Le'Veon was great, though. 600 yards, 20 touchdowns. Rookies, Logan was good. Blake, not so much. Williams, pretty damn solid. Now we can take a look at the awards, because now Bell has a chance. Was he even on the team? Wasn't on the top 10 list. How is that even possible? Bell number 9 for Offensive Player of the Year, but really, how is that not what? Wait, am I missing something? Number 5, fair enough. Really? I would have honestly thought he would have been way up there. 20 touchdowns, 1,600 yards. That's pretty good. Either way, back in the playoffs, have a chance going up against the Bills. They do win. I know the Chiefs are a little bit better than the Bills in the game, but they still have a chance, and they do win. Going against the Bengals, they've beat them once before, and they do win the Super Bowl, which I don't even know why I go into, because I can't even show you the ceremony, because stupid freaking NFL claiming Madden's real life. 8-9 overall to the 85 overall Vikings. We'll see. Le'Veon Bell could be a Super Bowl winner here with the Chargers. Let's do it. Right, going to the end of the game. Not sure how much of a factor Bell's going to play, but hopefully a big one would be the answer I would be looking for. 7 all. 7 of 14. That's tough because this offense is really not scoring. And yeah, Le'Veon Bell's not winning a Super Bowl this season, at least. I'll tell you what, as they get mollywopped in the Super Bowl. I mean, nice little comeback attempt, but ultimately just not good enough. And that is the result there, as Herbert was just awful, dude. Le'Veon Bell was just as bad. I mean, this was just a terrible performance. I mean, group-wise, they just, at least on offense, really did not deserve to win, and obviously they didn't. Like we said, you know, those points, offense is just sucking, so didn't really believe there was a chance to win it after they were giving up that much, and there wasn't. They lost. That's a really, really bad way to end the season, without a doubt. That is just awful. But it's at least a trip to the Super Bowl. Will they get back to that? I mean, that's a completely different question for a completely different day. Or, you know, the same video, I guess, a little bit later. All right, the draft recap. They went with a left end. I mean, in fairness, I think that is still a need. That is some speed. 84 speed, 85 excel for a 309-pounder. 306-pounder, 85 strength's a little low, but even though he's normal, he's got potential. And speaking of potential, Kenny Booth here, who is obviously on the slower side, probably one of those guys where it's like, oh, hidden. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I remember his ratings kind of suck. He's probably only going to be star. Yeah, so hidden, but in this sense, once again, especially in Madden, maybe not in Sim like this, but when you're using them, you kind of just want to go with the athletics, right? It's the most important thing because it just takes forever, and sometimes they just never upgrade their speed or anything like that. And obviously, Dev could literally, you could go from normal to X Factor in literally like a season if you're really lucky. Get 2 breakouts and a scenario at the end. You know what I mean? Like, you got enough picks or tackles or whatever the criteria is. All right, so Bell should be superstar, and he is superstar. Let's take a look at the superstar dev up, if you will. Superstar, contain quarterback. Okay, I don't really care about that. Abilities, bulldozer and armbar. He kind of went off as an AI, impressive. Let's really just draft a corner. Maybe look to replace the safeties and Bosa. I mean, it's not a bad spot. Obviously, Derwin could last maybe another year or two, but it's not the worst team in the world. I mean, this should be, I mean, unless there's some teams just killing it, one of the better teams in the league. I don't really see how, there can be another team with as many starting caliber players as this team has. And not even just starting, but above average. Playoffs? Playoffs. We're talking about practice. I don't know where I'm going with this. 6-11. There's no top performers. Wait till week 1 next year. Le'Veon Bell, better than ever, though. Better than ever. What else did we have for Bell? Receiving wasn't terrible, but Beck stole some of the carries, but Bell is better for this team than Eckler was. I mean, that's pretty obvious. He's once again not going to win, any rookie, not rookie, MVP or anything like that, but could be somewhere up the list. Wait, where's 7? I'm looking at the team name for Bell. I don't know why, and then I see Bills. I'm like, oh, there he is. And I was like, wait, why would that make... No, that's stupid. The Browns back in the Super Bowl. The Cardinals are there. I wonder who's going to win this one. Wow, who would have thought? Well, I guess maybe they're still figuring out who it should be. So it's always important to check your players. Surprisingly wasn't good enough for X Factor, which means he probably did regress. I know maybe not this year, next year then perhaps, but this is what he looks like. Obviously max trucking and stiff arm. Juke move and spin slightly went up. I might have to turn off auto progression because, yeah, the game, they're kind of not upgrading balancedly. Once again, corner, probably the number 1 need. They did not do that. They went with a left-end derby. Maybe you can make the argument for dual style. I don't really see it. Decently fast wide receiver who's normal. Left guard should be hidden. Normal. Carlos Escobar, what a sick name. Mike Leach, 23. I mean, do you just want everyone to be 23 on the team? Like, I don't know what this is. Like, that freaking Ancestry website. Did this team always have Manny McDonald? I could have sworn they had an X Factor on both sides. Maybe it was just Vaughn I'm thinking of. But, yeah, that's kind of what the team looks like right now, and I don't know if they're spending money on free agents or if they just got a lot of expensive, players. But, I mean, really the last guy they signed in free agency seems to be Dalton Schultz. And, that's been some time ago. Nails? Who the hell is Nails? Is that a backup they signed? What is this? Because the guy they had was normal, or star dev, wasn't it? The guy they drafted anyways. Bro, what? How old is Herbert? What? Yay! Fix the game! And 13-4, I was like, oh, they missed again. But this time, they're actually the best team in the AFC, apparently. Once again, like I said, it seems like they have been for some time, only now seeing it actually come true. Le'Veon Bell, very good again, but yards per carry a little bit lower than normal. Touchdowns a little bit lower than normal. A little surprised to see that Blake isn't performing a little bit better, but at least that white fella is doing something, I guess. Dalton Schultz as well. His team is just very obviously racist. They only throw to the white guys, just like Herbert. Le'Veon Bell, I don't know if he said he has some heritage or something, but he's the only anomaly around here. I don't even know what I'm going at. But going to the divisional round, going up against the Jaguars, I mean, once again, I'm not going to just like blatantly crap on one team, but this is your year to at least make the championship, right? Right? Yes. The Bengals, can we possibly be headed back to the Super Bowl? They are. We will be going in against the Cardinals, a team that, of course, recently enough, we did that Todd Gurley, well, I would say recently enough, it's been like a week or so now, but the Todd Gurley one, and he was obviously a Cardinal for some time. I don't know what that really plays here, but wow, they got rid of that flag very quickly. I mean, that's impressive. What, do they roll it up instantly? Jeez, the speed of these guys. But, of course, 7-0 start, 7-3. Chargers looking pretty strong. Missed the extra point, though. 16-3, 19-3. The Cardinals aren't done yet, and I think it's over, is what I would say if it was actually over. It's definitely not, and now it is. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to show you the Super Bowl because the NFL doesn't like me. Herbert was okay. I mean, good percentages. Didn't really almost said levitate the team, but elevate the team. Le'Veon Bell actually did really well. Obviously, did the dirty work. Beck got a couple of touchdowns, good yards per carry as the backup, the speed back. This team's a pretty special team, and Le'Veon Bell is having a pretty special career. An interesting start as a backup, and now just like the clear-cut starter and go-to man overall. And obviously, the team has won a Super Bowl. So Le'Veon Bell having himself a pretty good career here. Still not done. Has won a ring. Let's actually take a look at Mr. Bell's stats. So 99 touchdowns, 84-67 in 136 games played. In real life, he has 96 games played. As far as started, though, is 81. Obviously, a lot of these games wouldn't have been started either. With a career yards per carry of 4.1. 4.6 here for this Le'Veon, who obviously had a really rough start early as a backup, as least yards per carry wise. So, really doing well as a starter. Obviously, receiving not super great, but 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Definitely real life Bell hasn't beat there so far, but still plenty of time. Don't think he's going to go up to X Factor, though, so we may see a regression already, but still, gotta like the way that this has gone, especially, once again, in a different way. Normally, we wouldn't have the guy we're looking at be a backup, but he is here, 29 years old, 92 overall. Yeah, I was about to say, definitely means he would be losing some upgrades, but that's fine, or some ratings. It's fine. He's still really good in the 90s for trucking, stiff arm, and speed and whatnot. I went to check on, what players they got in free agency and noticed Nick Chubb was one of them. And the other thing I noticed is that Le'Veon Bell is gone. Yeah, I'm not sure this is a good decision for Bell, but sure, man. Well, he went to a team that definitely did not play as well. Is that Nick Chubb putting up better numbers than Le'Veon Bell did? Or kind of close to, at least. Kind of, yes. Sean Watson, well, Le'Veon Bell still had a really good individual season. I suppose he got the ring, now chased the money, even though they gave him like a one-year deal worth like next to nothing. I don't know if he just got let go like properly. Maybe he got a contract here, $103 million to work with, which is quite a bit. Cowboys win another Super Bowl. Sweet. We're on here in Houston, root for our fellow Texan teams. Probably not. I feel like they'd probably be just as big as rivals of anyone. It's like, no, we're the best in Texas. No, we're the best. Neither of you are the best. They spent like $9 million. What are they spending on? Please tell me Bell's gone. He is. What? I have re-signings on. I do. I don't understand. Is the game just that busted? Look. The only thing I have is... Oh, I probably should have Auto Scout on. I forgot to turn on Auto Scouting. Whoops. It hasn't really caused any issues, though. The Chargers were killing it. Well, I guess we're hopping to a new team after this because the Texans... They are obviously siphoning money from the team because their salary cap is loaded. The team obviously is not. Bell is an X Factor and a Raider. Pick 5 overall. All right, Bell. Another bad decision, apparently. If you say so. Devontae Hills. Oh, my God. The Raiders are drafting like the Raiders again. Oh, 6'4" hidden, though. Fair enough. Finally a wide receiver, perhaps. Although... Pick 5 to playoffs. I don't know how much Bell mattered, but he had a good season. I just want to show you guys didn't like force any wins or anything like that. Once again, I don't have the time to be doing that for something I specifically don't really have. I care, but you understand, right? You get it's not like it doesn't change much for me whether Le'Veon Bell goes off or he doesn't, right? I actually probably have more of a reason to want him to suck or someone to suck because a lot of these players just usually do well anyways. So it'd be kind of nice to see this player was actually really lucky in real life. They were actually worse than Sim. But, of course, Bell did have a pretty good year, without a doubt. 8 overall for Offensive Player of the Year. As far as running back, best of his career, I believe, at number 2. Should still have a Pro Bowl or 2 in his career, but no best running back or anything like that. But another playoff run. The Patriots have taken out a lot of teams and making to the Super Bowl. They will not be doing that this time, though, as the Jaguars now. Jaguars beat us. That sucks. I don't know what the hell I'm... Diabetes? Okay. But Super Bowl between the Broncos and the Seahawks. Nice little rematch there. And the Broncos get their revenge, even though they have already in previous videos. I think Bell actually got a proper contract this time. I don't know for a fact, but I'd say he had got a couple of years in him, so we'll see. It's going to be really weird when the thumbnail is him on the Texans, even though it was like a 1-year stint. I throw you guys off the trail sometimes, sometimes. So the Raiders did give Bell some sort of a longer-term deal. This guy is very accelerant heavy. I don't know how. That is like the weirdest, like, what was his 40 time? I swear if his 40 time was like a 4.6 and this is what you get, I would be fuming. I mean, that is a scam. Once again, for pass rushers, I'm not sure what matters the most. Excel, you would think matters the most, but Excel in the end is how fast you get to your top speed, right? So, I mean, if you have 99 Excel with 1 speed, you still slow. As far as the safety, It's running back. I know Bell's kind of on the older side now. He's like 31, so we're not going to be blaming people for drafting running backs around here. But, all right, Le'Veon Bell on the Raiders for another year. Back to a 6-11. It's like the team goes 11-6 or 6-11, no matter what team he's on. Bell was still pretty damn good. We haven't had a scenario where he's needed to be dropped in dev, which is... I don't know how I feel about that, because once again, it just seems like every running back is going to be doing that after, maybe halfway through their career, but still a pretty good season nonetheless. Should still be a pretty good overall as well. We'll see how far he regresses, but I mean, he is still probably coming to an end, but still should be in the 90s. For their draft, they had picked 6 overall. They're going to go to, to the playoffs now. That's how they did last time when Bell first arrived. Brett Fox looks like a decent cornerback. A DT. Cliff Maben, I don't know, he's 23, so it's already a huge L plus the normal dev. All right, I'm not quite 11-6, but the Raiders are back once again. Looking at the rushing numbers, the running backs in the league don't seem to be developing super well, as the highest numbers were like 1,400 yards. Usually you see like 1,800 to 2,000 yard seasons from some of the top guys. And, obviously, Bell still had an okay season, but you could definitely tell Metcalf is still around. What the hell? And he's a good overall. 35 years old, and he's an 89 overall. Oh, my. Oh, my. But, yeah, Bell still had a really good season, especially for his age, but definitely, especially yards per carry-wise, worse than we're used to seeing. But still, once again, good enough. Definitely good enough. Number 5 on the Offensive Player of the Year award list. Number 1, he finally won Best Running Back at the age of, 33, 34. What a guy. Of course, the Browns, team that has made the playoffs quite a bit. We're gonna lose by 3, which is an L, but okay. He did drop pretty hard, too. He's like an 88 overall. So before we advance any further, I do want to just make sure... I'm guaranteeing he won't retire, but I just want to make sure, just in case. 13,926 for yards, 168 touchdowns with a 4.7 yards per carry. That will drop soon enough. Bell with 3,862 yards, 21 touchdowns. And yeah, I mean, I do want to start doing these potentially with injuries on, but at the same time, it kind of defeats the purpose of it, because a lot of these players are injured. Players that lost games due to injury and whatnot. It's very impossible. I mean, probably literally impossible for anyone to go their whole career at a skill position without being injured at least a couple of games. So I don't know, dude. It's just it kind of defeats the purpose then, though, if we turn injuries on. So I'm not sure, but let's see what the regression is like for Bell. Once again, I'd say at least another season before he's, close to retirement. He's still an X factor, and I still think with a season which was almost 2,000 yards total again is X factor worthy. So he's going to stay an X factor as well. May even retire an X factor unless the game auto regresses him, which they didn't do yet, but 83 overall. Let's see what he looks like. So fast enough. Acceleration did drop, but fast enough. Trucking and stiff arms kind of iffy compared to where he started. Juke move's good. Spin move's, getting better, but fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, he's still a really good player. He obviously lost his second ability, but still has Bulldozer, still has Wrecking Ball, and still has some decent talent around him. So I'm not even sure if Bell's on the team or anything like that, but just kind of going over what they went with. Tim Green. A lot of normal devs. I can't imagine it's just the team's drafting badly every time, right? Maybe it is, actually. But, really? Okay, I mean, sure, I guess. But, like I said, it just kind of seems that the drafts have been pretty bad, and if you look at around the league, a lot of the overalls have been dropping too. I don't know if it's just the drafts or the way the teams are drafting, but okay, another normal dev, 23-year-old, 70 overall or whatever. Bell, if we can find out, I wonder if he's still on the team, 83 overall. Can't imagine there's many places he can start with that overall, but got to be some. Maybe in one or two spots, maybe he'll find it, or maybe he'll end his career the same he did when he started, which, I mean, I suppose a lot of players have had that happen to them, as Bell is still here. 33 overall, or 33 years old. Hopefully not a 33 overall. Could very well be his last season. We'll see, but very well could be. And if not, his last might be a season where we have to drop him to Superstar, because, once again, might not have the greatest year at that overall. 11-6, I'm telling you. It's literally 11-6 or 6-11. Once again, I don't have a reason to force any wins. So there's that. Obviously a really good performance for the team. And a little surprising, actually, because the team's overall, well, it wasn't really that good before the season. There's probably some morale boost and all that right now. But let's take a look. Duffy, not bad. Bell, ooh. I'd go as far as to say that he should probably go to Star Dev. Maybe even normal, but we're going to drop him to Superstar after the season, because obviously they don't do it right away anyways. There's no point in looking up any awards or anything like that. We do want to take a look at his stats and awards, though, before this is over. He very well could be gone after this season, so I was going to say maybe win it for him. If the kicker lost them the game, I swear to Jesus, I'll do nothing about it, because I can't control it, but I would love to. And Bell, I mean, that was a pretty good performance. Yards per carry-wise is really good. Kicking, you missed an extra point, did ya, buddy? Yikes. That's a bit of an L. Well, let's take a look at the final stats and awards. Let's just be honest. He's probably gone. So despite being a backup for the very early part of his career, he still ended up with some very, very good numbers. 14,892 yards, 181 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry. Only fumbled 3 times in his career. You can see the average rush yards per game is on the lower side because, once again, he was a backup for so long. 97 yard was his longest. 687 broken tackles, almost 2,000 yards after contact. He had 4,300 yards receiving, 24 receiving touchdowns, so over 200 yards total, and nearing 200 yards, 200 touchdowns, 20,000 yards. Let's take a look at where that puts him on the records list for a career, at least rushing yardage-wise. Of course, you can see a lot of guys in, look at Jonathan Taylor, killed it. But obviously, Le'Veon Bell getting close, plays one more season. He's going to be on this front page here for touchdowns at least. Of course, you can see a lot of real-life names on there as well, but let's see if he's even still here. Once again, we dropped him to Superstar on top of it, and we'll find out right now, or maybe not. Is it next week, or is it because we didn't have any retirements? I think it might be next week. I think it's this one. Bell's not here, but he very well may have retired. Oh, no, he wouldn't have, or not retired. Well, yeah, he would have, but may have gotten just not re-signed, but I think he might have just retired. And he did or didn't. I can't tell, because if the re-signings are right now, why isn't he there, right? I suppose that's kind of the question on everyone's mind. Normally, we kind of just let it happen because we're like, yeah, we figure he just retired. But I actually want to, I don't care about the password. It's going to be gone by the time we do. That's something I just say just because I feel bad. Let's take a look if he's actually in free agency or not. Holy crap, holy. We don't normally see this, by the way. So I guess that means that they did just... So they just get rejected a lot, I guess. Okay, I mean, I guess that kind of clears up the whole do the AIs sign players, because they definitely tried, I will say. Pharaoh, that was the right tackle for the Chargers for a while. Bell is not here right now. Please leave a message after the career. Maybe he got signed, though. Who knows? If he's not, I'm just going to call it there, because we've seen that there's a bunch of guys not getting contracts. There's no point in going on when we know he's retired. But, yeah, he's gone. He is absolutely gone. You know, obviously by age, he would be up there, you know, by overall, not a bad, maybe he bumped the sliders a little bit more, but overall pretty good stuff for the sliders. I mean, no one really asks for them, but I'm still going to give them if you really want to know. This is what the XP sliders are for these, you know, kind of career sims. This is what I do. And I feel like it works out pretty well most of the time. You know, the team overalls are in the 85 to 89 range. Early on, they get really good. But then after, like, the first 4 or 5 years, a little bit after, you know, the base talent that was already in the league is kind of gone and, you know, kind of regressing. So, you know, the AIs take a little bit longer to develop. But, you know, the teams usually stay around in 84 to 85 plus, which is kind of what the game is like. So I feel like those are pretty fair sliders. And, yeah, that is going to be the career Resimulation of Le'Veon Bell. I can't really say it was the holdout that absolutely crushed him in real life, but it sure as hell didn't seem to help as he ended up going to the Jets anyways. I guess when your goal is to set yourself for life, and, you know, he did do that, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I still think that was too risky. I don't know what the Steelers' contract offer was. It might have been something really bad. It could have been something like, I don't know, 14 mil guaranteed with good money per year, but 14 mil guaranteed, but still, you know, he'd have plenty of money, but would be worth way more in the open market. I still, once again, think, though, that the Jets obviously kind of ruined him a bit, but still was probably not the right call. I mean, I can't imagine there was just no teams that were willing to spend on Bell, and his best choice was the Jets. His best bet was the Jets. Yeah, I need stroke therapy, and I wish I was joking. It sure as hell freaking seems like that. I mean, all these freaking failed offers. But yeah, I mean, another resim in the books. A pretty damn good career. I think Todd Gurley was better technically, but Le'Veon Bell, considering he started as a backup, did kill it. A lot of touchdowns, and, you know, didn't really spend too much time as a backup at the end of his career. He kind of just knew when it was time to go, and he went. Tons of money, obviously, and a great success, but I forgot to look at the awards. I think if I were to guess, I think he had 2 or 3 Pro Bowls with 1 Best Running Back award. Obviously, you can kind of debate who gets Pro Bowl and all that just based on their ranking. I think you have to at least be in the top 3, at worst top 4, and he was really only in the top 3 once or twice when he won the award and then came short, and then most of them were like 5 to 7 range, so didn't really miss out too much by not looking at the awards anyways. And yeah, if there's a player you guys want to see next, let me know in the comment section below. Career resim or just career simulation. You know, you want to see the rest of Justin Fields' career or something. I know I've seen a couple of comments like that. Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PK Plays. And then twitch.tv/Jeromepkr for streams. Ironically enough, we end on the Raiders here. And a little bit later, we'll be at the Raiders Super Bowl. So definitely check that out. And yeah, hopefully you guys come back for the next video. But until next video, see ya!